It's a joy to be with you today. I'm just delighted to be here. Hi to everyone online. Good to see you. I'm doing announcements today, and we have a wonderful speaker, our beloved practitioner, Marc Ruth. Yay. So let me just tell you what's going on. We have lots of things going on. On this Sunday, April 28th, I'm thrilled to have Michael Pascal here for a special musical experience. It's a meditation, but it's a Chopin meditation. He's bringing a virtuoso pianist to play. They've been at Carnegie Hall before. They're going to be at Carnegie Hall again later this year. He has a magical voice. It's going to be an experience beyond. So get a ticket. They're only $35. And it's only about 45 or 50 minutes. It'll be in the sanctuary after service this coming Sunday. So I want us to fill the place. It's going to be amazing. In fact, I'm coming back for that service just so I can come hear him. Normally, I wouldn't be coming back next Sunday, but I want him to be here. Also, we are excited that we have a candidate. Reverend Gregory Toole will be here the weekend of the 4th and 5th of May. So that's like a week from this coming Sunday. On Saturday, he's going to do a workshop. You're all invited. It's a love offering. And his workshop is on communicating compassionately and powerfully. He says, learn how to frame difficult conversations in the most heart-connecting way so that each person leaves feeling heard rather than shut down. And I just think he's actually amazing. I think he's the answer to our vision. So I want to say that he's also speaking on Sunday. On Saturday, he'll be meeting with the board, the practitioners, and the selection committee. He'll be having lunch kind of before the thing, and the board is taking him out to dinner in the evening. So the people in our center will have an opportunity to get to know him better, some of those teams. On Sunday, he's speaking, and then he'll be here for hospitality. You can come meet him personally, talk to him, ask him any questions that haven't been answered yet. Check him out. And then the ministers are going to take him out to lunch on Sunday. So Sunday is a big day. We have the drum circle after service, and also people are rehearsing for the talent show. So May Ruth is running all that. If you want to be in the talent show, it might not be too late to sign up. If you can be here next, May 5th. It's not next Sunday, a week from Sunday, to check it out, right? So I want to go back to Reverend Gregory. Yes, we have one candidate. We only have one candidate. We did not have any other applicants that would rise to the level where they would be able to serve this community. So we're thrilled to have the one that answers our vision, frankly. After that candidating weekend, the board will be talking with Reverend Gregory to see if they can negotiate a contract, which as ministers we call them a letter of call. He's being called to the ministry as senior minister of this center. If that can be worked out, it's like if we want to marry him. The selection committee is really fun because we talk about dating. It's like getting in a relationship with someone. Our big first date will be Saturday. Our second date will be Sunday. And then, do we want to get married? Do we need a prenup? So the board of trustees they're the ones that will then decide if we want to actually offer him to the community. And the community, according to our bylaws, will vote on the candidate, even though we only have one. It isn't like you're choosing between two, and I think that's actually better myself. There's not, you've got the one. Is he the one? You will know, and you can come and vote yes or no. You have the power, okay? We expect that vote to happen early in June. It'll take a little time to do all those other things. And we'll call a special membership meeting, which requires at least notice the 2 Sundays before the membership meeting. So you'll be hearing about when we're meeting and when we're voting. Any questions? Dawned on me I could ask that because I think I'm trying to answer questions I heard after service on Sunday, right? We have some other exciting things. Reverend Kathy Sinfield will be teaching a class called Mental Equivalence, which I like to call Keys to Manifesting, because it's only a 5-week class, and it is about how to really manifest what you want, what your heart wants in your life. It's a powerful class, and it's here in Richelieu Hall on Thursdays from 10 to 12:30. So it starts May 9th, on Thursday, May 9th. So sign up for that. We do have scholarships. If money's a challenge, I want you all to take this class because it's powerful and it will change your life. So get signed up, okay? We also have coming up the spiritual discussion group at 2 o'clock and the Labyrinth Walk at 3:45 on Thursday, May 2nd. You know it's going to be here before we know it. That's just next week. Woo, I think, yeah. The drumming circle, I already told you that. Our choir is going to start meeting the second Sunday every month. And I think they'll be singing for us about quarterly here. Especially they'll be singing for special events. But it's kind of a ministry in itself. If you love being in the choir, it's fun to just come and sing together and get practiced and have that opportunity to be in music. Okay, here's an exciting thing for me. Today I met with Laura Salazar. She is studying and wants to be a second grade teacher. So she is qualified and authorized to be working with our children. She currently does childcare and a little bit of teaching during the Sunday services. So I've invited her to be more than that, to begin to organize our teachers, to create lesson plans, and so she's stepping up a little bit. So on May the 18th, which is a Saturday, we're going to have a gathering. Anyone that wants to help with the Sunday school, we don't call it that. Okay, this is the new name we came up with today. The Sunshine Kids Club. Do you like that? I said to Laura, what would you like to call it? She said, the Sunshine, I don't know, she said Sunshine something. I said, how about Sunshine Kids? And she said, yes. So then we added club, so there we go. So our Sunshine Kids Club is going to be moving forward and teaching our principles in fun ways for children. Those are old enough to understand, and doing great childcare. But we really need 2 people every Sunday. So if you're interested in volunteering to help with the kids, we have a couple volunteers already, but we need, the idea would be you'd help once a month. So come sign up for that gathering on the 18th of May. It's a Saturday. That evening is when we have the, the talent show. So I'll be here all day and coming to the talent show and speaking on Sunday. It's going to be a great weekend. What can I say? We offer 2 weekly book study groups for free and our yoga class every week. I want you to know the book study group yesterday was packed. We had to add like 5 more chairs, I think. It was amazing. Great group. And of course, on Sunday mornings at 10:15, we have our Science of Mind class, which is Living the Science of Mind. So come get a taste of Ernest Holmes and chat with people about how you apply that to your life. It's a great group, very fun. I want to remind you that the restroom near the parking lot, we had 3 women's restrooms and 2 men's restrooms. So what used to be the women's restroom near the parking lot is now a family restroom, an all-gender restroom. There is a lock on the door. So we expect you, when you go in to use that you would lock it for privacy. It says in use or occupied on the outside. So it's a place where a mother with a baby that she needs to change a diaper on and 2 little toddlers can go lock the door and her kids aren't going to run away and no one else is coming in, okay? It's a place where anybody of any gender can be comfortable going in there by themselves as well. So just remember that when you go in there. Let's see, a big thank you to all our volunteers. Thank you back there to our tech staff. Yay to you. We're still looking for people to help. Thank you so much. And to all of you, you all are volunteering, many of you, and make a difference. And big thank you to Ruth, who is always here on our usher team, and she is our usher for Wednesday services. So thank you, Ruth. We love you. Let's tell Ruth how much we love her. We love you. Yeah, thank you very much. Would you join me in an opening invocation, just taking a moment to be centered in spirit before our beloved Marc speaks. So just take a breath and move your awareness into the stillness within, that quiet place where we can sense into a deeper awareness of the divine. That quiet place that is a place of love. That is a place of unbounded joy and wisdom and life itself. I know this presence is the truth of each of us. We are the presence of the divine. The spiritual magnificence is the truth of each of us. And this presence is in, through, and all that is, so we are one in the presence, as a presence. We have a divine connection to all of life. Beyond my own mental concept, I continue to expand my awareness of that deep connection to all. And so today, I invite us to see through the eyes of love, to know that divine wisdom flows from our practitioner, Marc, Ruth, and that we are here to support, to connect, to feel inspired to be lifted up into the highest possible things for our mind, heart, spirit, body. It's a grand time here at Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. So with a grateful heart, I just released this knowing it's already so. We're having a great service. Will you join me as we say together, and so it is. Thank you all, and welcome, Marc, amazing Marc.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sharon, for that wonderful opening prayer. I say good morning to all the people here in the congregation and all those who are watching this online, this midweek service, this inspirational, uplifting talk. My topic today is the keys to healing. Now, to give you a little bit of a background on that, I had to come up with this topic 2 months ago. I think that's an incentive to prepare for it, but who knows? As fate has it, just before I came up with the topic, I was at my doctor's office. She's a endocrinologist, but I just call her my thyroid doctor. And so I'm sitting in the waiting room, as everyone does at a doctor's office. They wait, and I play games on my phone. But they have a TV monitor going on that talks about things you can do, healthier lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. I'm playing my game, and suddenly I hear something about, meditation and the benefits of meditation. I go, oh, okay, interesting, blah, blah, blah. Then there's something else that comes on, green spaces. I'm going, these could be the keys to healing, because in this video they keep saying, well, the scientific studies show. I said, oh, well, this could be the keys to healing. I really like this. Well, that was more than 2 months ago. So 2 weeks ago, I figured, I better go watch this video again so I can have my research done for me, basically. So I don't have an appointment or anything, but it makes no difference. I just slide into the waiting room, get my phone out as though I am playing my game, and I start watching the video. Well, unfortunately, it's a different video. So I had to rely on my memory, which, okay, so be it. So that's how I came up with this topic. So, one of the things they talked about very briefly was, forgiveness. So I have a little story about forgiveness. And the minister's sermon that day in front of his congregation was, "Forgive your enemies." So toward the end of the service, he asked his congregation, how many of you have forgiven your enemies? About half the hands go up. Well, you've heard it here before. Sometimes the question gets repeated, and he does so. Now, I'm asking you, how many have forgiven your enemies? Now about 80% of the hands go up. Well, it's getting to be afternoon. Lunchtime is, he says, I need to know your answer. How many of you? Everyone raises their hand, but for one lady. And he goes, Mrs. Jones, aren't you willing to forgive your enemies? And she says, I don't have any. And he goes, Mrs. Jones, that is very unusual. How old are you? 93, she replied. Oh, Mrs. Jones, what a blessing and a lesson to all of us. Could you please come in front of the congregation and tell us how a person can live 93 years and not have an enemy in the world? This sweet little lady totters down the aisle, gets in front of the congregation, and says, I outlived the old biddies. So, now we have the question of, Well, you know, maybe she was carrying a burden for a long time, but she surely seemed happy in her answer. So, now, what about the principle of healing? So we have a slide from Quinius Fimby. And Quinius says he believed that there's perfection at the center of everything. He believed that there is a perfect man standing back of all of our trouble, sickness, and confusion. He said that he could sometimes see this man, but that this man is surrounded by the opinions of the world, and these beliefs take form in the physical body as disease. Now, Phineas Quimby, and for those who just were at the recent, I call it the before class, the Science of Mind class, was the history of New Thought, and they talked about Quimby, and they call him the father of New Thought because he was the one putting these healing principles together in a New Thought manner. And so, you know, we can see from the philosophical belief point of view that on a spiritual basis, we're perfect, whole, and complete because we have the God essence in us. Now, Troward, Holmes was greatly influenced by Troward. You know, Troward talked about the absolute and the relative. And the absolute is the spiritual plane. There's no limitations, no conditions, no time, and versus the relative, which we relate to conditions and limitations. In effect, the relative is on our plane. So the key is what Quimby is saying, is we got to see the person, including ourselves, in that spiritual perfection. Now, because that is on the spiritual plane, that's what we're focused on. That's where our consciousness is, because our consciousness, our thoughts, are feeding our subconscious, the law, the soul, the doer. And it takes our thoughts and it manifests. So we're not denying that the condition, the illness or the dis-ease exists, but it has no power behind it because it's not the truth of the person. Because the truth of the person is on the absolute plane because we are spiritual beings. Okay? As you all know, the first two steps in treatment, there's only one power, one presence, one creative intelligence. And the second step, it's in me, through me, and as me. I'm united with my source. So, a lot of times, as Quimby pointed out, there are opinions in the world that influence us greatly. And from that, sometimes we develop stress, we develop worry, angst, anxiety, because those outside influences become part of our belief system, and we have a separation from our source. So, what I'd like to do for a minute, maybe more than a minute, is go into a quick guided meditation. So, if you join me as we go within, please relax in your seat. Take a deep, conscious, connected breath. And join me as I go within. So I relax into my seat. I take a few more deep breaths as I feel tension slipping away. As I take those deep, conscious, connected breaths, I graciously exhale. The adrenaline dissipates, and as I inhale, the oxygen fills me, nourishes me. Spirit fills me, nourishes me. As I go within, I am aware of my surroundings. I am in a sacred place now, away from the hustle, the bustle, the noise, the chaos. I'm away from out there. I'm in a place, a haven of love, kindness, peace. I am calm and serene. It's a safe place where I feel comfortable communing and aligning myself with my source, my Creator. I fill my body and my mind with a deep appreciation and gratitude for this one moment right now. I am grateful for my spark of life, my existence. So thankful for my consciousness and awareness. I'm aware of this wonderful break in my busy life. Awareness. I am awareness. Awareness begets wisdom. I am wisdom. Wisdom begets peace. I am peace. Peace begets love. I am aware of feelings. Thankful for this moment. I let images into my mind. The warmth of sunlight on my skin. The leaves of a tree fluttering in the breeze. The comfort of a soft chair. I choose a simple moment of awareness for which I give thanks. I let it absorb into my experience. I relish this simple fact of being alive in this moment. The countless gifts of life around me, part of me, my experiences. I am so grateful for all the expressions and experiences of living. I thank my feet, my legs, my knees, my hips for carrying me. I thank my body for caring for me, my breath, my healing. I take a few deep, conscious, connected breaths, and I am uplifted with the feelings of gratitude. And so it is. So, as we come out of that meditation, what we have done is we have applied the principle that Quimby was talking about. We focused on the existence and our gratitude for being. So we are applying the principle of love, kindness, peace. Our consciousness is in alignment with our source. So, what are the health benefits to meditation? Meditation is a mind-body practice in which your attention is focused on being mindful of the present, your breath, and your mind to promote awareness, cultivate well-being, and reduce stress and anxiety. From Forbes Health, it says, mindfulness-based interventions, such as meditation, have been shown to improve mental health, specifically in the area of stress, according to a study in the Clinical Psychology Review. When faced with a difficult or stressful moment, our bodies create cortisol, the steroid hormone responsible for regulating stress, and our natural fight or flight response, among many other functions. Chronic stress can cause sustained and elevated levels of cortisol, which can lead to other negative effects on your health, including cardiovascular and immune systems and gut health. Meditation, which focuses on calming the mind and regulating emotion, can help to reduce chronic stress in the body and lower the risks of side effects. Now, a lot of times people say, well, I had no conscious thought of bringing this illness or disease on me. It simply was not in my mind, and yet I got it. They ask, well, how does that happen? Well, there can be many answers. One could be, has there been a lot of stress in your life? Has it been a chronic stress? Our bodies are unique and all react in different ways. Because if we're worried, anxious, anxiety, we're speaking to each and every one of our cells. And we're not telling ourselves, oh, I have a consciousness of peace, love, and harmony. We're telling ourselves, I'm worried, I'm anxious, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm not in control. And those type of messages, well, we don't know how the body's going to manifest those. But what the studies say is when you're under stress, you're releasing this cortisol, your blood pressure's going up, and other negative things that affect your immune system. Immune system, once again, our bodies are just such a miracle created by God. There's a system inside of us that fights illness and fights disease if we allow that to happen. But if we reduce through stress, worry, anxiety, if we reduce our immune system ability to fight it, then there is a health benefit to reducing that worry and excitement. Sarah Maya Tapia, a meditation coach, associate director of health and human performance and head of wellness education at Stanford University, she suggests asking yourself when and where you feel peace, comfort, joy, clarity, creativity, or focus. For some, this might be while taking a shower, going for a walk, or playing with their pet. So you don't always have to get into a yoga, Zen, meditative state. You can be meditating while you're enjoying life, walking in nature, walking your pet, looking at nature, trees, the beach, what have you. So we have another slide, because I always like to quote from Ernest Holmes. And this is what Ernest has to say. The practitioner knows that the spiritual man needs no healing, but that this has not yet become revealed to the mind. What the healer does is to mentally uncover and reveal the truth of being, which is that God in and through every man, and that this indwelling presence is already perfect. Once again, you can see in the New Thought movement, very similar to what Quimby had to say. If we, as a practitioner, and don't forget, we're all practitioners because we're practicing these principles. If we see a person that is experiencing a condition or an illness, and that is where our consciousness goes, then we are not seeing on that spiritual level the perfect, whole, and complete person. We're focusing on the condition. Oh, he's sick. Oh, he needs help. The law of attraction would say, if that's what you're focused on, you're going to get more of that. So the truth of the person, the God essence, that is on the spiritual plane where we need to put our consciousness. Now, I know you've probably all heard this, The Golden Key by Emmett Fox. Take your mind off the problem and put it on God. Now, when I first heard that, I said, well, I think I can understand taking my mind off the problem, but what do you mean by putting it on God? Well, it's basically the opposite of what the condition or the limitation is. Because if the limitation is financial, God is abundance. If the limitation is a condition of health, God is health. So once again, in the Quimby and Ernest Holmes, we're looking at the perfection of man and woman too, right? When I say man and Holmes says man, he wrote that back in the 20s, and now we know it's all one. Now, sometimes prayer can be helpful. There was this church service, and the stranger approached the minister right after service and said, "I'd like you to pray for my hearing. And boy, the minister just jumped right in, very energetically. And he puts his hands on the man's ear and said a very passionate, earnest prayer concerning hearing. And the minister says, "How's your hearing now?" And looking at the prize, the man says, "Well, my court hearing is tomorrow." Okay, so that's why sometimes prayer can be effective. But our lessons in Science of Mind is that, well, we need to be a little bit more specific rather than just general. Now, maybe this stranger was going to explain a little bit more about the hearing, but the minister, being so energetic, jumped right in. Now, in Science of Mind, we don't use the put the hands on approach because we believe our words and our thoughts is where the power comes from. So, once again, we know the principle. Our consciousness is focused on the God essence. Our consciousness is focused on health and the healing principle we want to bring into our life. So, another way we can apply this principle is through laughter. Laughter can also keep you healthy. According to the Mayo Clinic, research has found both short and long-term benefits. Laughter can increase oxygen to the heart, lungs, and muscles, increase the endorphins that are released by your brain, improve your mood, and reduce physical pain. Villanova University even went into more depth, had a lot of benefits. One was managing your hormones. They once again talked about that cortisol. But it increases the level of health-enhancing hormones. Laughter increases the number of antibody-producing cells and enhances the efficiencies of T cells, which ties into your immune system. All this means a stronger immune system as well as fewer physical effects or stress. Puts you in a positive frame of mind, changes your perspective. Sometimes we look at things as threats or a challenge. And sometimes if we can have a wider perspective and maybe sometimes laugh at the circumstances, it helps our perspective see that things aren't quite as bad as they might appear to be. So Villanova also talked about laughter. It fights illnesses better. People who are optimistic, who are out there laughing, have stronger immune systems and are actually able to fight off illness better than pessimists. Live longer. According to some recent research published in the archives of the general psychiatry, elderly optimistic people, those who expected good things to happen rather than bad things, were less likely to die than pessimists. A recent research showed that preschool-aged children laugh up to 400 times a day. But by the time we reach adulthood, we laugh a mere 17 times per day. And once again, I always like to listen to the words of Ernest Holmes. And he wrote this in The Anatomy of Healing Prayer. I like beauty, laughter, and song, and dancing, and fun. If it's good enough for Ernest, it's good enough for me. Some people say that if we're expressing God, let's show God a good time, okay? And that means laughter as well. So I have another slide. This one's from Emma Curtis Hopkins, a teacher of teachers. Ernest Holmes took some classes, 12 chapters from her. God needs no healing, therefore there is no healing to be done. God needs no reforming, therefore there is no reforming to be done. What then? We tell the truth, and as the whole and perfect man steps forth, he looks on the sense plane as if he were being healed. Notice the words, He steps on the sense plane. That's the senses. That's Troward's the relative. So he goes from being conscious as perfect, whole, and complete, and takes that to the sense level and being healed. So when we're talking about healing, it's important not to forget the medical profession, because that is definitely a way that we can apply the principles and the healing, is to use all possible resources. God created pills, God created doctors, so let's use them. Now, I have a little story about a doctor and a lawyer. So the doctor puts out a very creative sign, and the sign says, if I cure you, I get $20. If I can't cure you, I pay you $100. A lawyer, being pretty clever, says, I think it's my time to shine. I think I can beat him at his game. So he goes to the doctor. Doctor, I can't taste anything anymore. Please cure me. The doctor tells his nurse to get some medicine out of drawer 33. And the attorney takes a sip of the medicine. Oh my God, this tastes like gasoline. Well, doctor says, well, you lost your taste. Now you got it. $20, please. I cured you. The lawyer says, very frustrated, I'll be back. So the next day, he comes and he tells the doctor, please cure my memory loss. Doctor says, nurse, fetch some medicine out of drawer 33. After drinking the medicine, the lawyer says, this is the same stuff that I had last time. Oh, memory cured. $20, please. The lawyer stomps away. Lawyers don't like to lose. I mean, he's totally frustrated. He comes up with a foolproof plan, and he comes into the doctor and he says, doctor, I am blind. Please cure me. Doctor says, well, I can't cure you. So here's your $100. But he hands the attorney a $5 bill. And the attorney says, wait a second, this is not a 5. This is a 5, not 100. Blindness cured. That'll be $20, please. You know, I'm feeling the healing benefits of laughter already. You know, and very briefly, I have one more slide on the, this is from Jeremy and Esther Hicks in The Law of Attraction. To have health instead of illness, you must think about health. When your body is sick, it is easier to notice the sickness, so it requires desire, focus, and a willingness to look beyond what is happening right now. By imagining a healthier body in the future, or by remembering a time when you were healthier, your thought in the moment will match your desire, and you will then be allowing an improvement in your condition. The key is to reach for thoughts that feel better. Now, in Science of Mind, we believe, because of Troward said, up on that absolute plane, there is no time. So if we talk of things in the future, maybe they won't happen till the future, but the future never gets here. So we think of things happening right now in the present terms. So the keys to healing is believing in the principle that your consciousness of health is the key on the spiritual plane, which flows over into the physical plane. Keys can be meditation, laughter, or wherever your consciousness reduces that stress and gets you into alignment with your source, where there's that peace, love, and harmony. The key is applying the principle, knowing the truth of our spiritual being and being connected with our source. And now that is the truth from Ruth. And so it is. So now is the time where we apply another principle, the law of circulation, and that is giving and receiving. And it is time now to give, to help this center grow and function, and to give you more of what you're looking for. So please join me in the affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. So it is. Okay, well, Grant has the extra microphone in case there are any questions from the audience that I can answer. And, if I can't answer them, I always have Dr. Sharon that I can rely on, or other practitioners. But I would do my best to answer any of your questions, or if there is a prayer treatment that someone would like. Okay, we have a volunteer over here.
Thank you. I have a prayer request for a friend of mine. Is it okay? Yeah. Oh, okay, like that. Her name is Gloria Rivera. She used to come to the church here, and she passed away last Tuesday from cancer, so she's in a better place now. I would like to have a prayer request for her, Gloria Rivera.
Okay, what happened on Tuesday?
Last Tuesday, she passed away.
I see. Okay.
So she's in a better place and she's not suffering anymore.
Okay. Take that deep, conscious, connected breath. I'm breathing spirit at one power, at one presence, at one creator of all. It's in me, it's through me, and it's as me. And I know that this wonderful person has transitioned into what we call a better life. She's on that absolute plane where there is only peace, love, and harmony. And as she goes forth to her new home, we only think the best for her. And we know that there is a sadness of her going, that we will not have a direct presence. But we know that in that sadness, that is from our point of view, and that we can take that sadness and look at it as to the celebration of her life, and remember the good things and the good experiences that were enjoyed while she had her wonderful life here and her beautiful life beyond. I'm so thankful that I have this consciousness and this awareness of life after death, that I have my current consciousness as that consciousness continues in the future. I'm so thankful for this teaching and for this awareness. This is the truth of my word. I release it unto the law, knowing that it's already so, as we say, and so it is. Any other questions? No, we're all laughed up. We're feeling better? Okay.
I have a prayer request for my friend Carl and his wife Becky.
Becky, okay.
Becky. Carl is the one with the problem, with the challenge. He had an accident recently, and as a result of that, many problems have been discovered in his body, and he's experiencing a lot of pain and I think fear at this time. And I would like to have a prayer that affirms his peace of mind, the release of pain, and faith that all things are going as they should be and in the hands of God.
Great. All right, thank you. Once again, this prayer is for Carl, and I speak in the first person, knowing that there is only one power, one presence, one God, one creative intelligence. It's in me, it's through me, and as me. It's in each and every one of us, including Carl. And this is what I know, that as I focus on the wonderful body that Carl has, I know that the body is a healing machine, and that God created this body to cure itself. And in addition to curing itself, it gives us the consciousness and awareness that if I am focused on health and what I want to bring into my life, a healthy, functioning body in all aspects, in all respects, I know that this is the truth for me, and I am looking from my highest point of view. I know that the healing words, the support, and the love is passed on, is manifested in Carl's healing presence. I'm so grateful that I have a body that is created with health in mind. I am so grateful that I have a body that heals itself. I'm so grateful and thankful that I have a consciousness of having powerful healing thoughts and manifesting those ideas and thoughts that I want to bring into my life, including my full functioning body and my consciousness of my unity with my source, which is peace, love, happiness, health, and abundance. This is the truth of my word. I release it unto the law, knowing it is already so, as we say, and so it is. Okay. Well, no further questions, no further prayers. I thank you very much for your attendance and allowing me to speak to you with some of my thoughts. And have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Thank you.